who have made a difference for them. I will kindly ask that each student come to the microphone in the order that you are listed in the program. Let's start with River and Joseph.
Hi, I'm River.
Hello, I'm Joseph. Life in high school is tough for everyone. Students have to cope with the high expectations, workload, difficulty, responsibility, and stress, which come with the transition to the final phase of secondary education, while also setting up their futures. Teachers have to cope with their students whining about those difficulties, and simultaneously compete a much larger amount of work, except instead of the few years for students, teachers must labor for decades. I somehow avoided this massive workload during my freshman year and continued the tradition in sophomore. But things were going to change, for I would meet a teacher.
I had Bill Gibson for AP European History last year, and it was definitely one of my favorite classes that I had. On one of the first days of class, he told us that he was not going to teach to the AP exam, and he most definitely did not. Over the course of the school year, we learned an immense amount of information about European history. Though his teaching style was very different than that of most of the teachers I have had before or since, he was one of the best teachers that I ever had. He would jump around in his teaching, talking about the Renaissance one day and World War I the next. But I learned so much in his class, and about myself as well as about history.
When I participated in one of my first extracurriculars, I was not the brightest, nor the most hardworking, or even the nicest member of the group. I was, however, a facetious smart aleck. Mr. Gibson somehow saw something in me. He laughed at me, then forced me to work. He put up with my little bits of complaining. He guided me through the year in his own unique way.
I also worked with him to plan Human Rights Week. This was a wonderful experience as well. Mr. Gibson is very passionate about the struggle for human rights internationally. He was very knowledgeable about many of the issues, but he was quick to admit when he did not know about a topic. In those cases, he often knew just the right person to ask, who would know what to talk about.
Flash forward 2 years. I now have Mr. Gibson as a full teacher. His wit and charm continue to amuse. While the topic of study can change on a daily basis, it is always presented with Gibson's personal touch and perspective. I can't say that I've ever had a teacher like him, and certainly AP Euro is a high point of my day.
Mr. Gibson was not a particularly hard teacher. He would give us an essay to write once or twice a month and a take-home test with about the same frequency, but he made sure that we did it. The work he gave us was just the right amount to make sure that we did all of it.
Bill Gibson is an intriguing individual, one who has truly caused me to grow academically and individually. Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Mr. Gibson, for this year and last, has been a wonderful teacher for me, as well as a great friend, and I am glad that I met him and took his class.